universe on practical knowledge under Commanding Journey Ahana, presenting the West Coast Cookout in Las Vegas, Nevada, where all blacks and Hispanics were welcome to enjoy the spirit of Christ amongst their brothers. This was an opportunity for all Israel to meet the heavy hitters of the ISUPK. The Thursday night scripture breakdown class, taught by 12 Shield General Muhammad, a true leader in Israel, breaking down the scriptures like no other.
Right. So what is the law of sin and death? Give me one. There's 1,000 of them. Just give me any scripture that says, if you do this, you have to die. You can choose one. Give me one that everyone will admit that they have done. A lot of them in there, you ain't going to admit you did.
Entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods.
Stop right there. Has anyone in your family ever told you to come to Christmas dinner? Celebrate Halloween? How about smoke weed? Which is lighting incense unto a strange God. Has your mother ever wanted a Mother's Day gift? Okay, keep reading.
Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known.
Which you have not known. Is Mother's Day in the Old Testament? Is Father's Day in the Old Testament? Is the worshiping of Christmas lawful in the Old Testament? Okay, keep going.
Nor thy fathers.
Well, your fathers, your forefathers did not give their Mother's Day gifts. They didn't celebrate Christmas. So this is a strange God, strange practices that our people did not do.
Fully automatic boat status. Fully automatic boat status. Fully automatic boat status. Fully automatic.
On Friday was camp, and the priests and prophets of the Lord hit the streets of Las Vegas, waking up our people and bringing the truth to the meat like only one West could.
Rich off of our destruction. Black people working these jobs and making these casinos run while you live deliciously and get these hotel rooms and be nasty in them and get who got to come clean it up the next morning? A Hispanic sister or a black sister, man. We have always been the slaves in this place, and the Lord said destruction to you for establishing America with sin, for putting us in slavery.
Because if you don't take over this place, man, then the white man is going to tell it to all damn nations, man. Because they want us utterly destroyed, man. They want us utterly destroyed.
Goddamn Karen.
That is what makes you special. It is what makes you different. It's what makes you such a man.
Your bishop raping your dog with the footage, breaking it down so I'm ruthless about the law, killing these Christians with it. Stop it, ass, she the give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that. Let bygone be. Boy, ass, she stop it, ass, she the prophet. It's about to get serious. When they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. He cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed he up on parole because of the COVID. It feel like the host in this world that don't go together. Know that it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settled. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass need to stop it. I try not to do that, but I take it. I try to.
down. Like, let's just say you a bus stop.
So he's sitting down, that's why he ain't came out in the
Yeah, he garbage now, but D-Lo back here.
D-Lo back here.
That nigga had every
09,
function.
08, 07.
Bro, he had the function turned up, bro. D-Lo, hey, Thawah, D-Lo, we don't give a fuck about no. No. Nigga, what? That nigga was going up. That nigga was going up. Real shit, nigga, yeah.
Yeah, you can just jump in on the side base.
Girl, wobble it, and I'ma wobble it. I say you're moving your head, go ahead, bobble it. We can cradle the man, I'm straight racking it. The girl say my hip like the hip, go rock shit. Yeah, my soul is busy, but I can't help my flow ridiculous. Boy, got a gift like it gotta be Christmas. Swag on this like it gotta be gifted. The girls brought cameras and they want pictures and they gon' frame up. See that? Little bit while I'm saying my scriptures. Cause I leave holy like a prayer to temple. One beat, I move with the letter of a pencil. If my won't miss you, good like kiss you. Take a damn bag, cause you got pistol. And I don't think
He said we're talking shit about everybody. Watch your back around me like that. So I get cat. Officer Shabal. We bonded and everything. He was like, oh man, you an iPhone user. He found out I was a Broncos fan. I found out he was a Raiders fan. It was all downhill. All downhill from there. That's what I'm saying. All right, for sure. And that is one of the funniest things. One of the funniest ones was running two camps last game. Yeah, we out here, man. You feel me? Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what I mean? West Coast barbecue. Having an excellent time, man. Stay tuned.
Saturday was the West Coast Cookout, where families came together in the spirit of brotherhood and the spirit of Christ and sisterhood, having a good time, good drink, good food, and great music. And the children enjoyed themselves too.
I can learn a lot from you. Gotta come teach me. Get back the cat that's me.
Alright, I'd rather listen to Biggie than Pac. Alright, first off, Biggie was hard. And second, you gotta mean, Biggie's flow was just ridiculous.
He's be ripping out your tongue, breathing the bitch without a lung. Catch you and out of darkness, your carcass is a pile of them. I'll get your shuriken all of 2020. We be on the lead, village bitches, west to one west. I pass it off, test it off at a bridge. Success often I live with regrets, but now it's all new cut. All of that shit was a sister act of 50 Luca. King like Cooper, getting all black trooper. Started from the bottom, now we here like a roofer. Cleaner than a loofah, fuck Martin Luther. Into how the white boys shoot to make a bleep out.
Yeah, broke the thing. Alright, ain't no problem. Thank you. Yeah. No problem. Oh yeah, for sure. Man. Then you want the island? You want the island, right, brother? Man, all right. Y'all want some macaroni? All right, cool. Y'all want some chicken? We got the chicken on deck, man. We got everything y'all need, brother. Ain't no problem. ICBK, man, home of the truth since 1969, man. Feeding our people out here. Y'all both want some of this chicken, right? All right, so. Yeah, no problem, man. I got some silverware, man. Listen, man. Any of them young brothers over there, man. But again, they gotta be black or Hispanic. They're not black or Hispanic. All right, no problem. Okay, all right, cool. So call it everybody, get y'all something to drink, all right? All right. See this? Nigga got arthritis. What's up, Yachty? I might do more than 15 this time. I might do 30. I'm a little happy. Feeling a little happy. Yeah, you got the flow. You used to work at that.
Yeah, he wanted me to commend you, man, because Commander General Yohana knows that nights like this and days like this are not done without great sacrifice, man. All of you sacrifice greatly, not just to have these kind of events where we can all come together and love each other and be with one another and have a refuge from the violence and the hatred in the world. These things can't happen without sacrifice. And all of you have made a great sacrifice. Not only to perform this barbecue out here in Las Vegas, but just to be in the truth itself, man. Now, can you imagine this evil world in that to even just believe in what we believe in, we have to suffer persecution, suffer hatred, suffer being vilified from our family members and co-workers. And all of you were willing to do it, man. All of you were willing to make that sacrifice. And on behalf of Commander General Yohana, I want to commend you and thank you. Give yourselves a hand. And I also want to commend Captain Thawah. Give him a hand. Also, Captain Cromwell, Officer Gabar. Give him a hand. He's a candidate out.
They killed. Give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my houses. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Shalom, Israel. This is Priest and Officer Thawah Gabar. This is the Law and History class. We're about to get it in. We're going to go over, we're going to talk about the sister that just got killed by her friends. We're going to go over, does the Bible say that you should be a vegetarian? Should you just be eating vegetables? I had a question from a sister that believed that basically the Bible says that we should be eating vegetables. We should not be eating meat. And we're going to get into that. Also, I have some history with some slaves, a book we're going to go over. And yeah, but first I want to get into that. They still playing games with Kyrie Irving. I see they the owner of the Nets, he really trying to break this brother. He really trying to hold out and show Kyrie Irving that, listen, they in control. If you could you get let me get a sound check. Brothers and sisters, you in the chat, can you hear me? Put a 1 up in there. If you could put some more frankincense and myrrh in there. Let's get that. Let me know if you can hear me. Go ahead and put a 1. Put a 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure brothers and sisters can hear me. The water, Jaime, the water. So I know if Jaime can hear me, everybody can hear me, right? So yeah, I just heard about this story today. A sister went to go vacation. If you could find a story for me, and you can read the story. This sister went out. The water called Maz, the water Olivia, right? This sister went out and you know how they do. They go on their vacations. They go out and have a good time with their friends. Go somewhere out of town so you can post on your Instagram and post on your social media that you living it up, you vacationing out in some exotic place. And this sister never returned home. This sister didn't make it back home, right? And she went out with people who were her so-called friends. Have you found one yet? All right. Go ahead and read it. I think the sister's name was Shanquella Robinson. All right.
Shanquella Robinson, a 25-year-old Charlotte, North Carolina woman, was reportedly beaten to death while on vacation in Mexico with her friends. According to WGHP, Robinson was brutally beaten by a friend in Mexican villa before she was discovered dead. Friends claim she died of alcohol poisoning. Robinson was reportedly part of a group that traveled from Charlotte to Cabo on October 28th and rented out a villa as part of the birthday festivities for one of their friends. Salamandra Robinson, the woman's mother, told the news station that she last spoke to her daughter moments after she had settled down in Cabo and while she was having a meal with her friends.
Good night. So that her friend said she died. Something was wrong with her. She drunk too much. She drunk too much. And then we're going to get to it. I'm going to play a story real quick. I'm going to play the story. I found the story on YouTube, the news story. I'm going to play it for everybody that's on a live right now. So just bear with me. Share the screen.
Tonight at 11, a Charlotte family is trying to, but what happened to their 25-year-old daughter? Shanquella Robinson's parents say she took a trip to Mexico last month with a group of friends. Her friends made it back, but she didn't. They say she was found dead. They were told what happened, but they tell me tonight they're not buying it.
I just sit back and wait on God, because like I say, she's going to get justice.
A mystery in Mexico. How did a weekend with friends turn into a nightmare?
Something is not adding up right here.
Bernard and Salamandra Robinson say their daughter, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, traveled with friends from Charlotte to Cabo, Mexico on October the 28th.
I spoke with her Friday evening. She was having dinner. And I never spoke with her again.
The next day, their world changed.
On Saturday evening, they called and said she wasn't feeling well, and they was gonna call a doctor. But when they called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet, but they said she had alcohol poisoning.
They say they were told their daughter died from alcohol poisoning, but they don't believe that. They say they've heard different stories, and none of them add up.
We received the autopsy report on Thursday, and it said that her neck had been broke. And she had a spinal cord was cracked. So that took it to a whole nother level.
In a statement, the U.S. Department of State said, quote, "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time." Shanquella's body arrived back in Charlotte on Thursday.
She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone.
Weeks later, questions remain.
We're not gonna stop until we get to the end of it.
Take it to the bottom of it.
We're gonna get to the end of this.
No, this not gonna happen, No, I've been crying, I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
And the family tells me they have contact.
Good night. Go ahead, Ak. What you gonna say? You had your hand raised.
This ain't the Black Panther thing.
You said what?
The Black Panther stuff.
No, this is this ain't the Black Panther stuff.
I ain't watched it yet.
Yeah, this sister. She went out and thinking she was gonna have fun, have a good time with her friends, and there's a video out. I ain't gonna play the video. There's a video out where they beating the hell out of her, and one of the men is holding the camera, telling her to fight back, while another girl is beating the hell out of her. And to kind of find out what they saying, allegedly that girl that's beating the hell out of her is a transgender. It's a man that's beating the hell out of her. That's bigger and stronger than this sister. They said when they found when they got the autopsy report, this sister had a fractured vertebrae, right? Her friends told the mom that she had alcohol poisoning. Come to find out, she done been beat to death, right? If you could I want the book of Ecclesiastes. Give me what I want. Give me Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7. Right? Because a lot of times you think that you got people around you that are truly your friends, that are truly there, you know what I mean, through thick and thin, ride or die. A lot of times we think that people that we hang around are really down for us, when in reality they are plotting and they hate you. And let's not just get into the whole thing about a man wanting to be a woman. You understand? Like, if this is in fact the truth, we already know that black men that are LGBTQ want to be women, and they are jealous of women, and they hate black women, right? Because you are the epitome of what they want to be like. So they hate you. You understand? Meanwhile, black women, you're the number one supporter of LGBT black men in our community. Meanwhile, your bestie and your best friend is an LGBT community black man that you accept more than you will accept a masculine black man. And you don't know that's putting you in harm's way, and that's putting you in danger. You understand? Go ahead and give me that.
Ecclesiastes 6 and 7.
Yeah.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6 and verse 7. All the labor of man is for his mouth.
Salakia. You said Ecclesiastes. I said Ecclesiasticus.
Oh,
Salakia. That you did ask me twice. Here you go, right here. Find it in that.
6 and 7, sir.
You got that? Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7.
Ecclesiastes 6 and 7. Be in peace with many, nevertheless.
Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiasticus?
I got Ecclesiasticus.
In his 6 and 7.
Oh.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because I got what I got for 6 and 7 is for you to prove a friend.
I got it.
You got it?
Oh.
Okay.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Do what?
Prove him first.
Prove them first. Prove your friends first. In the black community, we think somebody is our friend when we smoke a damn blunt with them. Yeah, that's my friend. You think your friend is somebody that you done hung around with at a party. Read it from the top.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Prove him. Go ahead.
And be not hasty to credit him.
And don't be hasty to credit somebody. We so hungry for attention in the black and Hispanic community. We think somebody our friend because we was on the same bus together. We went to school together, right? And you ain't proved this friend. The Bible says that a brother is grown out of adversity. You know, a real friend is when you going through something. That's when you see who your real friend is. If you could give me that, a brother is born out of adversity, right? A brother is born out of adversity. But this sister had all of these people around her, and I think it was two men. I think one of them was LGBTQ. Well, they was both LGBTQ. One was what you call it, a homosexual, and the other was a transgender, looking like a woman. And then you had about 3 sisters along on that trip. They was all on that trip. So she thinking she's surrounded by people that care about her and people that out looking out for her well-being. When they done put her in a damn death match in a hotel, and a transgender done beat her to death. You heard her father and her mother said, this is not over. You understand that? Like, when it comes to us, like, we have to really, really examine the people that we hang around, the people that we call friends. And in this society, they tell us this sister was just 25 years old. She was a damn baby. She by all accounts, she's a young adult. She ain't even lived life. Like her father said, I'm not going to get to walk her down the aisle. I'm not going to have no grandchildren because they killed my baby. You understand? And we're going to get to the bottom of this. Go ahead and give me that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 to verse 7. Chapter 17 to verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
It said a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born out of adversity. Your friend is down with you through thick and thin. Your friend is with you, is down with you through all time. And a brother is born out of adversity. Adversity, when you're going through something. When you got lint balls in your pockets. When you ain't got anything to offer, right? When you living from place to place, you got somebody that's still there for you. You got a brother that's still down with you. You got a brother that's willing to go through the fire with you, willing to help you, willing to go, on a job search or something. You got somebody that ain't going to desert you. That's what a brother or a sister is made of. It comes through hard times and adversity. That's how you know who your real friends is, because everybody don't hang around when you go through things. Everybody ain't going to be there when you go through things. That's why Christ spoke about brotherhood being so important, is because, listen, the brotherhood is all we got at the end of the day. You see what they doing to Kyrie Irving. Like Kyrie Irving, now you see that brothers are starting to speak out like, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. How y'all trying to, humiliate the brother? How you trying to do him? That's where our strength lies as Israelites, as God's chosen people. Our strength don't lie in how much money we have. Because as you can see with Kanye West, one day you're a billionaire, the next day you're not a billionaire, because we don't control this world. We don't control the money, right? But what we do control is our destiny if we keep the law, statute, and commandments, and we hold on to the brotherhood that we have in the school and in the truth. All right. Is that it on it? All right. You could drop that. Yeah. So this sister, man, they done beat the hell out of this sister and killed this sister, man. And another thing about that is that this was a transgender man. They came out with studies saying that the LGBTQ are more violent when it comes to domestic cases. When it comes to, I don't know if I sent you that article. Let me see if I can. I don't think I sent you that article. But they came out and showed that through the statistics, the LGBT community is more violent when it comes to domestic disputes than regular heterosexual people. Now you got this damn transgender, a man, and that's Esau's kingdom. They'll let you turn into a man. A man turn into a woman, and then go into women's sports and compete with women's wrestling, beating the hell out of women because you're genetically stronger. You're built there. You're a man. It's a man, but now he identifies as a woman, so now he's a woman. It's like what's the Kardashians' dad name? Bruce Jenner. It's like you in a swimming pool, because Bruce Jenner, he was an Olympian. I think he was like a 8-time Olympian in swimming, right? You get in the swimming pool and you done work your whole life to get to this point in the Olympics, and now they got They got Sam, but they call him Samantha. He hop in the water, big as hell, and about to and blow you out the water, and then make a world record time and all that. I'm like, wait, hold up, this is a man. How is that even right? What's wrong with y'all? And that's what happened to this sister, man. He fighting her like when you see the video, he's hitting the sister like how how women hit just like a cartwheel, arm swinging like a cartwheel. The sister is smaller than this dude. Now that I know it's a dude, I'm saying allegedly because I don't know for sure, but they saying that was a transgender. It's a transgender that was beating her up on that video, and that's who killed her. If that's the case, man, that's disgusting. That's horrible, man. To have our sisters, and that just shows you how, it was a black man recording, telling her to fight back, and she's fighting a man, and that just shows you how destroyed we are as a people. Go ahead, James.
That's how it is right there. Like, I'm from San Diego.
Right
there, when you go across that border, it's ABC community deep right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll get you.
They'll get you like that, huh?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. What did you have? You found the article
about Bruce Jenner.
Oh, about Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, it said Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce, is a former track and field star who won the gold medal and broke the world record.
Track and field. That's even worse. Now you get on as a woman, you done worked your whole life. You done been the fastest. You done won medals in high school and college. You get to the Olympics and you look to the left of you, and it's a damn woman with a beard about to compete against you. You cannot compete against a woman. Cannot compete against a man. Imagine them putting a transgender man into women's MMA. He will beat the hell out of all the women. Damn near kill him, and at least leave him with some long-term brain damage or something, because a man is stronger than a woman naturally. And so you got this transgender in this video beating up this sister, man, and it's just infuriating. But that's from us following Christianity and following the ways of the white man's society, where he says, yeah, if you just decide that you want to identify as a woman, that's what you are. You get what I'm saying? And we're more violent. We're more prone to violence when we're in those relationships. Why are we more prone to violence? We're more prone to violence because everybody that's in the LGBT community then came from a rocky childhood. They done been molested. They done seen some type of dysfunction. Something done happened to them where, in fact, they're just destroyed as a person, and they made that choice, and they think that choice is the right choice to make. But it goes back to Sodom and Gomorrah, where they were violent. They pressed against Lot's door. They wanted those angels. They seen two men and they wanted to have sex with them, and they was forcing their way. They were trying to force their way into the house. They didn't even want a woman. Lot offered him his daughter. They didn't even want a woman. They wanted the men, right? They were so profane in that city that you walk in, you a new brother walk through a city, a group of men see you, and they like, oh, we want to have sex with him. That's how disgusting and profane Sodom and Gomorrah was. It was 5 cities. That was the atmosphere, and that's the atmosphere that is getting towards in America, where a woman will tell you out her own mouth, when a lesbian woman approaches her, that lesbian woman, she don't take no, or that stud don't take no for an answer right away. She keep pressing her and press her. She see her in the club, she keep pressing like, I'm gonna get her. It's a spirit that they have that want to change you and convert you on that other side and change. You know what I'm saying? It's a spirit that they carry where they think like, yeah, I know she said no, but I'm gonna get her. Just like sometimes like a brother, sometimes he like, I'm gonna keep at it. Go ahead.
Why they push up on them like that?
Well, I'm saying that's the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Do they got a secret or something?
Who?
The other person, like, cause I got one. They be like my other rib. She work over there. It's the ABC girl over there.
Mm-hmm.
They be touching her. And
yeah.
She be like, I ain't with that. But like you just said,
yeah,
like,
it's definitely a demonic spirit right? It's definitely a demonic spirit. It's the same spirit that they had in Sodom and Gomorrah, where you don't want to take no for an answer. It's the same spirit that a man has when he's trying to holler at a woman and she tells him, I have a man. And he's like, what your man got to do with me? Like, he just keeps trying and he keeps trying. When there's more than enough single women for you to go holler at. You got a man? All right, shalom, sis. That's the end of it. But that spirit is like, I'm going to get what I want. I can get this. And so even when it's a man and he's trying to holler at a woman and he knows that she has a man and he's still trying, that's also a homosexual spirit. That's that same spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, I want you sexually and I'm going to get what I want. You understand? So that's what it is. There ain't no secret to it. Ain't nothing. It ain't no secret. That's just the demonic spirit that's on a lot of brothers and sisters in this society because we follow the ways of America. That's just point blank. Go ahead, James.
So you just basically trying to turn her out.
Just trying to turn her out, right?
I thought you like it.
You know, a lot of times we look at it like, oh, it's a challenge. Like this brother, he looks at it like it's a challenge. Or people look at it like, oh, it's a challenge to him. It's a game to him. But really, it's just a demonic spirit. Because why would you want to? And it's a lack of brotherhood. Because why would you want to try to sleep with another man's woman? When I was growing up, they used to say, you don't want nobody's sloppy seconds. You don't want to be with a woman after another man. But in our community, it's commonplace. It's common. It ain't even a big deal. It's like, yeah, nigga, yeah, I slept with so-and-so girl. Like, yeah, she gave it up. You know what I mean? And what did you get from that? You didn't get nothing, but it's a demonic spirit, and that type of spirit and energy could cost you your life. Because a man, he not gonna. And when he find out about that, it ain't nothing. The scriptures say it ain't nothing you can really do. You can't give him no money and nothing, because in his rage, he not gonna want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? He just gonna want revenge. So a lot of brothers have died because of that. A lot of brothers have died because of that homosexual spirit. It was one recent
Young Dolph.
It wasn't Young Dolph. It was a rapper named Trouble. I think he was from Atlanta. He went to a sister's house he was dealing with, but she still had her man that she was dealing with. Her man popped up and shot him in the chest and killed him. Right? You dealing with a woman that's still dealing with a man. That's an ugly situation. It's a nasty situation to be in, and a lot of brothers done died or they behind bars over something like that, right? But it ain't all on the woman, it ain't all on the man. But brothers need to know that, listen, it's more than enough women I can deal with. I don't have to deal with a woman that's dealing with another man. You know, and sisters got to understand, like, that's messy, that's nasty, it's whorish. I shouldn't be going from him to him to him. I'm gonna get somebody crossed up, and he or me gonna end up dead, right? Because in a man's rage, ain't nothing gonna be able to stop him. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm just saying that actually happens in our community all the time. What you got for me? You didn't have anything? So let me see where we at. Give me Deuteronomy. I think it's like Deuteronomy 28 and 56. You know what I mean? Because you got to have a certain type of hate towards your sister if you're going to sit there and allow her to fight a transgender man and tell her to fight back, right? Tell her to, do something. Obviously, both of them looked like they were drunk, but she wasn't doing anything, and she didn't even look like she wanted to even lift her hand to fight. And so we have a certain type of hate in our community, and it's black men against black women and vice versa. But that hate is there in our community. Let me see what you got.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 56.
Mm-hmm.
The and delicate woman among you,
Mm-hmm.
which will not venture to set the sole foot upon the ground.
It said the tender and delicate woman among you, that she wouldn't even adventure to put the foot of Salakis. Read that again. I don't want to chop it up. I'm messing it up.
The tender and delicate woman among you,
Mm-hmm.
which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground.
She wouldn't put her sole of her foot on the ground. Can you imagine that? Like, a woman was so delicate and tender, she wouldn't even she didn't want the ground to touch her feet. That was our women.
You understand? That was how our women were. Keep reading.
Which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom.
This same woman, her eye would turn evil to her husband, to her brother, because that's what we really are, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? In the Lord, her eye turned evil towards her husband. Keep reading.
Evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and
towards her kids. Her eye would turn evil towards her kids. I mean, she would neglect her. She would have kids, but she wouldn't have compassion on her kids. She would be hard towards her kids, right? Keep reading.
Verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things.
Now this goes into 70 AD, the siege of Jerusalem, where the Romans came and destroyed Israel once and for all. And what they did was they surrounded Israel, Jerusalem, and they didn't allow anybody to get out of the walls. And so we started to starve to death until we were forced to literally, eat our babies or watch them die, and we die also. Go ahead. I think or was the man before that?
Before 56.
It should go into the man too.
Yes, it's verse 54.
Okay. It was before that. Okay, go ahead. So again.
Verse 54.
Yeah.
So that the man that is tender among, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body and the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters.
So what we just read with the sisters, this is the same thing that, the man, he would start having an evil eye towards the woman of his youth. I'm just paraphrasing it, right? But with the sisters, we're not just talking about us having an evil eye towards men and women, but black women against black women, black men against black men. We would have an evil eye towards one another. If you could give me 2nd Ezra 5 and 8. 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha 5 and 8. Might be like 5, start at 5 and 2, I think.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, and that thou hast heard long ago, and the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet.
What verse is that at?
Verse 2.
Okay, skip up to like 4.
But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day, and blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled, and even he shall rule whom they look not for, that dwell upon the earth.
Damn, I got a straight bot in this damn chat. Yeah, you can keep going. Keep where
verse 6.
Keep going. No, verse 5. One more time. Verse 5.
And blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled.
Wait, what? So like it. This I had somebody posting some bullshit in the chat. I had to delete them. Go ahead and what did I want at first?
2nd Ezra 5 and 8. You told me to start.
Okay, keep going. So like it.
And blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled.
Okay, keep going.
And even he shall rule whom they look not for, that dwell upon the earth, and the fowl shall take their flight away together. And the Sodomitish, is that right?
Yeah.
And the Sodomitish sea shall cast out fish, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. Verse 8.
Okay, I think
there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places.
Okay.
And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
It says, menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So what you see today in the black community, that is from women bringing forth monsters. The children that you see, the youngsters shooting up the block, the youngsters becoming transgenders and beating the hell out of sisters, the black men that hate black women, the black women that hate black men, the brothers and sisters that don't understand the difference between right and wrong. That is what you're seeing in the earth today. You're seeing the fact that these are monsters. These are little, I said that before, these are booger wolves and these are gremlins. You understand? That's what that's what you see in the black and Hispanic community. You see monsters, and they have been brought forth by, you know, women that have not been taught the right way. That women that came up under Christianity, women that have said, you know, they don't, you know, need a man, and that's just a judgment on our people, right? So our work, we have a lot of work to do in correcting the struggle that our people are going through right now. And so that's what it is when it comes to seeing to, even in that, well, we didn't watch the video, but those are monsters. Those children, those young people are monsters to sit there and watch that sister suffer like that and then leave her out there. Go home. They went back to North Carolina, left her body in Mexico, told her mama that she died of alcohol poisoning. Meanwhile, they did an autopsy in Mexico. They said, oh, nah, her vertebrae is snapped. What the injury that she got, she died within 15 minutes of getting that injury, right? And so that's a monstrous thing to do that to somebody that is quote unquote your friend. And that's why Black and Hispanic people, you have to keep these law, statute, commandments and understand that you're going to have to prove who your friend is. You're going to have to, you know what I mean, see and it takes time. You can't just give them no credit off top just because they, you know, y'all went to the mall together. That's not how it works. You understand? Because y'all go to the club all the time. Going to the club all the time get you a broken vertebrae and put in a casket and shipped home to your parents, and they don't know what the hell happened to you, right? You can drop that. What I want to go into now is I had this question about should we be vegetarians? We shouldn't be eating meat, right? Because the Bible speaks against eating meat. And we're going to go over that. So let me see. Let me get this. So is the Most High against eating meat? That's the question. Is the Bible against eating meat? And I had somebody bring out this particular scripture. Give me Leviticus 17 and 12. They brought this scripture out, and they were saying like, because, well, I'll explain it, but they were saying because of this scripture, we shouldn't be eating meat.
27 and 12.
Leviticus 17 and 12. Let's call it out. Leviticus 17 and 12. You got it?
The book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 12. Therefore, I said,
do you need the do we have, I'm sure we got a Bible.
I got it.
You got it?
The book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 12. Therefore, I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, Neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood.
Right. So this person brought this scripture out to tell me that what it means is that we're not supposed to eat blood. We are not supposed to not just eat blood, but because meat has blood and meat is bloody, we shouldn't be eating meat. So read it from the top, because I'm gonna break it down.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 12. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood.
A stranger that sojourneth with us would be another Israelite, but you would be considered a stranger because you're from another land, right? But you would still be our brother because you're Israelite from another land, and that's what they call a stranger. Go ahead. Is more in that precept? All right, I want you to go to is nothing else in that verse 12. That was the end of verse 12. I want you to go to so I told them this is how we do it. You're gonna have to start at the beginning to get context, because from just verse 12 it seems like you shouldn't eat blood, right? Or how they, because blood is in the meat, you shouldn't eat meat. So let's go to Leviticus 17 and 1. We'll start there.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer an offering unto the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He hath shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people.
And he shall be cut off for his people. So the Lord is telling him to command Aaron that if any man in the camp or outside the kills an animal, he needs to bring it to the door of the congregation so that the priest could sprinkle the blood and make atonement for the sins. If he don't do that, then he is cut off from the people, right? And mind you, this is a sidebar. It says any man in the camp or outside the camp, right? That's for all you individualites that think that you're supposed to be on and that camp is not in the Bible. But the point is that we're getting context of what's going on. So if you kill an animal in the camp or outside the camp, you have to bring it to the priest, to the door of the congregation, so that they can sprinkle the blood to make atonement for sins. Keep reading.
Verse 5. To the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto the Lord, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, and offer them for peace offerings unto the Lord.
So what he's saying is like, this is because, to the end, this is because, hey, Salagia, would you read that from the top again?
Okay. Verse 5. To the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto the Lord, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So he's saying, the Lord is saying to the end, what he just said, he's saying, this is because if you're going to offer a sacrifice, if you do something in the field or something, you can bring that to the door of the tabernacle for a peace offering. So like for a peace offering. Is that what it said? So whether you're in the camp or not, as long as you're Israel, this is what you got to do, right? Go ahead.
Unto the priest and offer them, and the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of the Lord.
So when you killed the animal outside of the camp, you bring it to the priest, and this is what they would do. That read it from the topic.
And the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and burn the and they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto death, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto throughout their generation.
So the Lord, this is what you would do. We'll give it to the priest. They will sprinkle the blood and then burn the fat. And you won't be doing this anymore to the devils and the gods that you was worshiping in the wilderness, which one of them was Moloch, right? He said, this is a statute forever. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And thou shalt say unto them, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers which shall join among you, that offereth a burnt offering or sacrifice, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, to offer it unto the Lord, even that man shall be cut off from among his people.
So if you kill something and you don't do that, bring it to the door of the tabernacle, you should be cut off from your people. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that shall join among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and I will cut him off from among his people.
So this is the part that we're getting close. We're on verse 10, right? Okay. So any man that eateth blood, and we're going to get to the point of why
For the life, For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
The life of the flesh is in the blood, right? Go ahead.
And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Did you get that? The life, that's science too. This is science in the Bible. Read verse 11 again.
Verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
The life of the flesh is in the blood. What do they say if you lose too much blood? Like you get shot, you get in an accident. What if you lose too much blood? What is going to happen? What are you in danger of? Bleeding to death, dying. The Bible is telling you the life is in the blood. The blood is why you're alive. Science says that if you lose too much blood, you dead. If you lose too much blood, you ever wonder why somebody die and they just have like an injury on their leg or something? You be like, damn, why they die? He got shot in the leg. How did he die? Because he lost too much blood. The life is in the blood. The life ain't in the organs. The life is in the blood. That's science in the Bible. You understand? Go ahead. Where you at? Verse 11, 12? Go ahead.
11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your soul.
So this is why the Lord is saying don't eat the blood. It's because the blood is used for what?
For the atonement of the soul.
You that's the perfect answer. The blood is used for the sacrifice, for your atonement of your soul. So when you kill an animal, you can't eat the blood because the blood you need to bring that animal so that the priest can sprinkle it upon the altar. Go ahead.
For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. Verse 12. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood.
So now that we read it in context, does it sound like the Lord is saying don't eat meat? Or does it sound like the Lord is just saying, don't eat the blood because you need the blood to bring to the priest so they can sprinkle it on the altar, right? That's what it really. Go ahead, young man James.
So, like when I go to the restaurant,
I
don't like my meat bloody.
But let me just tell you, that's not. I know what you're saying. I had to learn that when it comes with steaks, that's not actually blood because it's red. It's some type of juice that because it's a muscle, because meat is a muscle, right? And damn, I'm forgetting what I just learned this the other day, right? If somebody could help me out, what is the red juice that comes out of the steak when you cut it, right? It's not blood, but it's like a liquid that helps the muscles. It's a muscle liquid, but it looks like it could be raw blood. You get what I'm saying? And I know when it comes to a lot of meat, they spray the meat too to make it look red, to make it appear to be fresher. Go ahead, James.
So it's like a lubrication for the muscles. that little red stuff.
I would say that right now. I would say, yeah, that's very close. I can't remember the exact. No, not Marrow. I mean, no, not that. We're talking about the juice that comes out of like a steak. Go ahead.
Sorry, I got it.
You got it. Yeah. Tell me what it is.
The proteins in a steak are like a sponge that holds the water.
Uh-huh.
As meat ages and is handled or cut, proteins lose their ability to hold on to water. Over time, some water is released and myoglobin flows out.
That's what it's called, myoglobin.
Giving the liquid a red or pink color.
That's what it's called. So it's really harmless. It's just for muscle. It's just because what you're eating when you eat like beef or something, you're eating muscle. You eat meat. Meat is muscle. Chicken leg, chicken wing is. But really, we're talking about beef. We're talking about that red look, or that juice that come out of it, right? But the point I was making is that a lot of people will come at you and say, because of this scripture, you're not supposed to eat meat because blood is in meat. And the Lord is saying, don't eat the blood. But, Christians don't read in context. They read one scripture and make a whole argument off of that one scripture, right? You have to read precept upon precept. You have to read in context. How do you get context? You go to verse 1 of the chapter. Right. A lot of times you don't even know who's being talked to. You don't know what's being talked about if you're going to go in the middle of the chapter and take out one verse and try to understand that and make a judgment on what you just read off of one verse. You got to get the context. Keep reading.
Verse 13, whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust.
So yeah, like you catch a fowl, you go and hunt to get some food, right? In the you out there in the wilderness, and you kill this beast or this fowl, you'll let the blood run out, and then you cover with dirt, right? So going back to what I was originally saying, the person brought up verse 12, but if you just read a little more, you see that it's not about not eating meat. It's just about not eating the blood, because the blood is used for the atonement of your sins. If you could give me Genesis 1:29. This is another scripture that they will bring out to say we're only supposed to be eating vegetables. Genesis 1:29.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
It shall be for meat. It shall be for something to eat. So when they read that, they say, oh, see, the Lord wanted us to just eat greens. He just wanted us to eat herbs. That's the proper diet for us to eat. Right? Now let's keep that thought. Now give me Genesis 9:1. Genesis 9:1. So this is the precept to cut what they're trying to say when they try to push. Oh, you see what Genesis 1:29 is saying? It's saying that we should just eat greens. We should just be, you got that?
9:1.
9:1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you that dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered.
Right. Keep going. What verse you on?
Verse 3.
Go ahead.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you.
Read that again.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. So do trees move? Do herbs move? No. But lambs do. Cows do. Fish do. Every living thing that move. We're talking about things that move because we do understand that plant herbs and all that, they grow. They are alive. but they don't move. We're talking about moving things that move upon the earth. Read that from the top again.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Right? Go ahead.
Even as the green herb have I given you all things.
Even as the green herb have he given us all things. That's the end of verse 4.
That's verse 3.
Give me verse 4.
Verse 4. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
Now we're going back to this again. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
No, read it. Verse 4, yeah.
But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
So you shouldn't eat flesh with the blood in it, meaning the blood is what would be used. We just read in Leviticus, the 17th chapter, the blood is what's used for the atonement of the sins. That's what the blood was used for, because that was the actual sacrifice, because the life was in the blood, right? So we got that. Now give me Proverbs 15 and 17. This is another precept where they pull out and say, we should be, Christians will pull this and say, we should be vegans. We should be eating vegetables. We should be only eating vegetables and fruits. We should not be eating no meat, right? Proverbs 15 and 17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 17. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
So what does that mean? Better is, so explain that to me. What do you get from that?
The better is a dinner with herbs where love is, basically. I don't know. I'd rather, I think it's like a saying, like, I'd rather sit. Have you ever heard of this saying? Like, I'd rather sit on the curb and eat a bucket of poop with real friends than sit at a dinner table with fake people.
All right, I'll take that. But what they getting out of what they're trying to say, what they're trying to say is that because it's just mentioning herbs, that means we should be vegetarians. Read it from the top again. I'm going to explain it.
Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
So a stalled ox is in the Hebrew, it's a fatted ox. So it's a fatted ox, an ox that's plump, ready to get ate. And it says it's better to where love is to be eating herbs. I'm paraphrasing. Herbs are cilantro, oregano, parsley. What else is the herb? Those are herbs, though. You know, it's better to just have herbs. Basically saying it's better to be somewhere where it's love at and have herbs than have what was one of them good steaks, filet mignon, or and be, in a nice house with the filet mignon and the New York strip and the iron steak. It's the same idea is like with rich people. Like rich people, they got all that money, they got all that influence, but they got all that hatred also within their households. They got all of the problems within their households. Whereas you got people that live like, I remember Priest Regalia told me when he went to the Dominican Republic, he said the people are poor. The people are poor in the Dominican Republic, but they're happy. Everybody got flip-flops on. They riding around on motorcycles. They don't got refrigerators. The lights go off every damn hour. Every other hour, the electricity goes out, and they have storms that can come at any time. They got to go buy their food every morning, fresh. They don't got all the best amenities and live good and have all of the comforts that we got in America, but they are happy, right? And that's what this precept, this parable is talking about. Read it from the top.
Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
It's better to be amongst your brothers with love and have a little bit than have a lot. That's what this precept is about. It's not talking about herbs are better than meat. But see, Christians don't understand the Bible, right? So what I want you to do is give me Romans. What I want. I think this will be the last precept on this. Give me Romans 14. and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse 1. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputation.
He said, if a brother is weak, he don't got a lot of faith, you still receive that brother, right? But not to, little small arguments and doubtful disputes. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs.
You hear that? It said, one believeth that he may eat all things. See, like I'm a brother that believe I eat all things. I eat meat, I eat protein, and I eat, salads, right? I don't mind having a salad. It might be a Caesar salad, but got a little bit of protein in it. But the point is that there's people that believe that you eat all things, and then read that again. Mm-hmm.
For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs.
Another who is weak, it says another who is weak eateth herbs. The vegetarian is weaker than the person that eats herbs and meat, right? The brother that eats, he has a balanced diet, like he eats greens and he eats protein. He's stronger than the one that only eats herbs. That's what the Bible is saying, right? But keep going.
Verse 3. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not.
So, but at the same time, even though you might be a vegetarian, we might have a brother in here, he's a vegetarian. But every brother in here, when they barbecue, we getting a plate. We getting some chicken, we getting a hamburger, we eating, but all he's gonna eat is the salad, the fruit, and whatever else they got right there, but not no meat, right? We ain't gonna judge that brother because that's his choice. Go ahead.
And let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth.
And a brother that don't eat, the vegetarian, don't judge me because I eat everything. Don't get on my head because I eat everything. Oh man, you ain't, your liver gonna go. You ain't gonna make it, bro. You ain't gonna live a long life because you eating all this meat. You got all this red meat in your diet. You gonna have all these artery problems and all of that. The Bible is saying there's one man that eats both. There's another man that eats one. One is weaker than the other. Go ahead.
So it's like if I may. So you don't think the Most High designed us like that?
Like how?
Some eat leaves, some eat meat.
I think that he designed us like that. I don't want to go too far into it, but when I was when we younger, you always say on the cigarette pack, this causes cancer. This is gonna do this to you. Tobacco products, right? But then you see a 90-year-old that smoke a cigar. It was that white man that used to smoke a cigar, George Burns or something. Always have a cigar in his mouth, but he lived to damn near 100 years old, right? So in the same way, a lot of people be like, oh, you want to live long life? You better be vegan. You better, have these juice drinks, make these fruit drinks, and you want to live a long life, but you don't know that. Like, I'm gonna eat what I eat. And the main thing I'm gonna focus on is keeping the commandments. I ain't gonna try to make this ultimate diet so I can, live long and be healthy and be the strongest I can be. No, I'm just gonna, eat what I eat. What I'm gonna try not to do is be greedy than a mug. You know what I'm saying? When I do eat, eat more than I need to eat. But like the Most High is the one that says, when I'm gonna close this, when it's time to go, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna be trying to. I'm trying to live long. I'm trying to make it to 100 years old. So I'm juicing. I got my juice machine. You know what I'm saying? I got my herbs right here. Like, see, you eating all that meat, bro. You gonna get heart disease. You gonna hit that? Like, nah. I ain't living my life in fear like that. And the Bible tell you, like, okay, it's one of y'all that's gonna eat everything. It's another one of y'all just eat that. You know what I'm saying? I came across a brother I'm my slave. I said, what kind of diet you? This is a big brother. I said, what kind of diet you on? He said, I'm on a meat diet. I said, "What the?" I done heard it all. I didn't know it. I didn't know it was a such thing as a meat diet. He opened up his lunch. He had steak, chicken, hot dogs. I was like, "Oh, I done seen it all." Like it's all in whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, the Lord is like, don't be judging one another. Don't be like, "Oh, this nigga, this nigga's weak. He don't want to eat no meat." And let me tell you a story though. It was a brother I used to work with, right? He told me he went vegan. He went vegan for like 2 months, but he said whenever he'd be at a function with his family, they'd be barbecuing. He'd be like shaking, like he want to eat it. But and then he started losing. He lost so much weight so fast. His family thought he was on drugs. They thought he was smoking crack because his face started to suck up. And he said he had to stop being vegan. But he said, he did tell me, he said, if you're a person that wants to really lose weight and you want to lose it fast, go vegan. And I mean, I respect that. Jaime said it's called the carnivore diet. Yeah, the carnivore diet. I was like, how in the hell is that a diet? But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you can eat what you want, but really it's the portions. How you gonna lose weight? So I guess you can just be eating meat. But if you ain't eating a lot of it, you can actually do some, lose some weight. You was gonna say something?
I was gonna say like our body like a car, like gotta keep the oil in there, transmission, keep it running, like
right.
And then when it's checkout time, it's checkout time.
And when it's checkout time, it's checkout time, right? Like every car don't last. Like some cars, you can do the same thing, change the oil, do all of that, and one gonna die out. The transmission gonna go before the other one, even though you was doing everything right. Yeah. So I said, why not just not worry about that, but worry about keeping the commandments? You know what I'm saying? Worry about that being right, as opposed to like, oh, if I'm doing everything perfect. I just read this where they said if you eat more grapes, you're gonna, like you'll add an extra 2 hours to your life. Like, bro, what are y'all talking about? You know what I mean? So what was they? Apple a day keeps the doctor away, all that crap. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm gonna eat what's good. If it's good, I'm gonna eat it. You know what I'm saying? And my main problem is knowing when I done had enough. Like, okay, I'm full now. I don't need to eat no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So when it comes to being a vegetarian, no, the Lord is not against us eating meat. That's not in the Bible. But many people have tried to flip it and say, like, the Lord wants you to be a vegetarian. You see right here, you see right there where it says that? No. We just read, what is that? We in Romans 14 and 1-3 that, you know what I mean? Let every man be persuaded in his own mind. One man eats meat, another one eats herbs. But don't judge each other based on that. It's not even a big deal. You know what I'm saying? In the big picture, the big deal is keeping the commandments. That's the big deal that we need to worry about. You know what I mean? You can make judgments on that. Don't make judgments on what brothers decide to eat. As long as he ain't eating no pork, shrimp, crab, or lobster, don't even, a catfish, it ain't a big deal. So if you could, let's see where I want to go. Let's go to Acts chapter 10. I want to read about Cornelius, and really, it's not really about Cornelius. I want to bring out the fact that in the Christian church, because of this particular precept, they say that you can eat anything that you want to eat, long as you just pray over it. You can eat pork ribs. You can have whatever you want to have, long as you pray over your food, because of this chapter.
Chapter 10 and 1.
10 and 1, yeah.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius.
Caesarea.
There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius.
So when you see that word, think Caesar. Caesarea, yeah. Go ahead.
A centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Mm-hmm.
A devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
Now, I was going to bring that out. Hold on. I was going to bring this out, that the centurions was black people. Hold on. They were a centurion is like a leader of a band. So he'll have like 80 to 100 soldiers up under him in the Roman army. What the Roman army used to do is they would conquer lands and they would recruit people from those lands. Well, it was Israelites that actually were Roman soldiers at that time. So it was a benefit of being a Roman soldier because you could become a Roman citizen and you can get all the benefits of being a Roman citizen. Kind of like if you lived in like Venezuela and you wanted to, you want to get to America and they offer this thing. Well, if you join the military, you can become a citizen. That's the same idea that was happening back then. A lot of Israelites they wanted to become a Roman citizen, but in order to become a Roman citizen, you joined the military and you got benefits that way, right? So let me just get this real quick. Show y'all some. Oh, I think I already got some pictures. Let me see. Open that one up. So I'm gonna drop this one. Show you some pictures of some Roman what people in Rome look like. Since this is a history class, also, just bear with me. Move that. Share the screen. Just bear with me. I'm about to put these pictures of Israel. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm not going to be able to zoom in. So this is a Roman centurion. This is the actual. I'm Salakia. Your brothers are going to have to go on live to see it. This is an actual monument on a Roman centurion's tombstone. So that you can clearly see this was a black man. Well, y'all know from being in my class, or even if you're on Black Authentic Truth, when I go over certain things, I show you that many times the nose has been knocked off. So you can tell this was a brother, a black man. And if you look at the little mask on his breastplate, you can see that it definitely was a black man, right? So that's a Roman centurion. This is what Cornelius was. What a lot of people think that Cornelius was from another nation and that he was converted to, like God came for all nations, when that was not the truth. That's not the reality. When you go into history, you see that centurions, like this is another one. This is a funeral tombstone with a centurion and his two sons, right? But of course, all three of their noses have been knocked off, right, to hide what their racial ethnicity would have been, because the so-called white man does not want you to know that a lot of nations in antiquity were dark-skinned nations, right? Here's another one. These are people in Rome, right? These are black people. Niggas. So go ahead and get back to I want you to get with Cornelius.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
The Italian band, and let me just say, there was an Italian band with Jews. You do a little research, you find out that the Italian band had Jewish regiments, just like the white man had, like the Tuskegee Airmen. He had the Buffalo Soldiers, certain regiments where they were very successful, and it would be a black regiment of brothers. Go ahead.
Verse 2, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
So he was a devout man, and he was one that feared God with all his house. According to the scriptures, who can fear God? What? Israel. So you have to read in between the lines sometimes when you read in the scriptures. Go ahead.
A devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
He feared God with all his house. Not every nation feared the Most High. It was only one nation that was called to fear the Most High, and that was the Israelites. Go ahead.
Which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always.
He gave much alms to the people. So this brother was in a good position. He was the commander of a band, of a legion of brothers, and he gave money to the people, right? And he had a good reputation. Go ahead.
Verse 3. He saw in a vision evidently, about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of God coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are coming up for a memorial before God. And
so this brother had been doing so much that his prayers and the things he had done for the people came up to a memorial before the Most High. The Most High remembered him. An angel appeared to him, and he feared the angel. Why? Because angels don't look like goddamn Cupid. Angels look fierce. They look fearsome. They look terrifying and frightening. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodges with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew high into the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
So Peter went on top of the house to pray about the 6th hour. Go ahead.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So he was hungry. This is where the Christian church goes wrong, because they think that this is talking about food. So Peter became hungry and he fell into a trance. Go ahead.
Verse 11. He fell into a trance and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners and let down to the earth.
So he had a vision, and he saw a great sheet with 4 corners coming down from the sky down to the earth. Go ahead.
Wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts and creeping things and the fowls of the air.
So it was all type of animals inside of this thing. Go ahead.
And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
So Peter, a voice said, Get up and rise and eat. He said, I haven't eaten anything uncommon or clean, right? Because in the vision, what he saw different. He didn't just see clean animals, he saw unclean animals too on this sheet with 4 corners, right? Go ahead.
And the voice spake unto him again the 2nd time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
And he said, and the voice said, what the Most High has cleansed, don't call it common. Go ahead.
This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, while Peter doubted in himself of this vision which he had seen,
so what Peter doubted in his head what this meant, right? This is what happened. Go ahead.
Behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate.
So Cornelius, it starts off with Cornelius having a vision, and then the men sent from Cornelius pops up right after Peter has the vision. And when Peter was pondering, what did that vision even mean that he just saw? Go ahead.
Behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house
Mhm.
and stood before the gate and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, Behold, I am the whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feared God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send thee to his house and to hear the words of thee.
So I want you to just stop right there. So as Peter was thinking about this vision that he saw with with a mixture of clean and unclean, and after it disappeared and he pondered, then the men from Cornelius came to to give him the report. So what the Christian church says that this is the reason why you can eat what you want to eat, right? Because it's talking about food, when in reality, it's really talking about other Israelites that were considered unclean or outcast. Cornelius was a Israelite that grew up as a Roman. He was in the Roman army. He didn't grow up in Jerusalem. And in that time, the Israelites that grew up in Jerusalem looked at the Israelites that grew up in other lands as outcasts and unclean. Like they wasn't worthy of receiving anything as far as the law, statute, commandments, and the promises that they were getting. Because these people that lived in other lands wasn't circumcised on the 8th day, never kept any of the high holy days. And so that was the attitude that a lot of our people had that grew up in Jerusalem. But this was Christ's whole ministry, was to go to other lands and wake up those Israelites that didn't even know they was Israelites, just like black people in America today, just like Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans don't even know, Jamaicans don't even know that we Israelites. We're in other lands worshiping Christianity, Catholicism, all of these other different religions, and have no actual clue. Kyrie Irving and Kanye West just said you the real Jews, and black people is arguing with them. They mad and steaming with them because black people think we the goddamn Egyptians, right? Think we some Egyptians, think we some Africans, think we from Wakanda, right? We'll think we're anything other than being God's chosen people. And that was the same idea. You see, when the vision was trying to tell Peter that you need to receive them. They have been received with thanksgiving. You need to receive the unclean, meaning you need to receive. What he saw was unclean food, but the parable, the analogy was really, it was Israelites that were considered outcasts, that were considered unclean because they didn't grow up in Jerusalem. This chapter has nothing to do with eating unclean food. So when a Christian says, "Oh we can eat anything because of that vision, because of what happened in Acts chapter 10, I can eat pork, I can eat shrimp, crab, and lobster." You ask them, "Well, are you going to eat some rat? You going to eat some cat? Are you going to eat some dog? You going to eat some bat? You going to get some bat delivered from Wuhan, China? Where did coronavirus start?" But the point is that everything that can be eaten don't mean you're supposed to eat it. Right. You're not supposed to eat it. You know, there are foods, there are animals we ain't supposed to touch. There's things we're not supposed to touch. And the problem is that it's so ingrained in our mentality, in the traditions of Black culture, with crawfish, well, they call them crawfish. We call them crawdads, crabs, lobster. They down south they love that crab boil thing. Where it be boiled eggs with crab legs and corn on the cob in a big old pot, like a stew, like gumbo, right? Gumbo that has seafood, right? Let's not talk about the honey ham on Christmas and the ham on Thanksgiving. The bacon, you know what I mean? We can't get over those things. But the point is that, well, I guess I made the point. Like, these things are things that we are not supposed to be doing. And anybody in the Christian church says that, oh, you're supposed to be a vegetarian, or if they say it's okay that we can eat anything as long as we pray for it, that's a damn lie. I just proved that right now in the scriptures. That is a lie. That is not the truth, right? So I'm gonna end with this. We're gonna get this book, right? This book is called "When I Was a Slave" by Norman R. Yetman. Put it up. See if it When I Was a Slave. So if you want to get this book, let's see. It's a couple things I want you to go over if you could. Let's see. Page, if you could, young man, if you could get this book, I want you to read this one. Read the title, the brother's name right here, and highlight it. But where I got it skipped, I want you to skip that little section right there. And then what page is another page? I'll bring out something heavy on here. 142. Let me see.
Hungry. Look at me hungry.
You said what?
Look at me hungry here. Be hungry.
Let me see. Thought I had it, but if you could just get this one right here.
This right here?
Yeah.
So read the man's title.
Yeah. Give me the name of the brother.
This is page 74 out of When I Was a Slave by Norman R. Yetman. This one is Silas Jackson, interviewed at Baltimore, Maryland, interviewed by Rogers. Age when interviewed, 90. My master was named Tom Ashby.
Ash, is that what it is? Ashby? Ashby.
A meaner man was never born in Virginia. Brutal, wicked, and hard.
He said his master, it wasn't a meaner man. It wasn't a meaner man than his master. This is a slave account. Slave is telling you some of the things he went through. And there's hundreds of accounts of of black people telling you their experience. I think it was in the 1930s, the United States government sent out interviewers and reporters with recorders to go talk to people who had been enslaved, previously enslaved. And they wrote down everything that these slaves said. And you can actually get the actual recordings of these slaves for free. Go ahead.
He always carried a cowhide with him. If he saw anyone doing something that did not suit his taste, he would have the slave tied to a tree, man or woman, and then would cowhide the victim until he got tired, or sometimes the slave would faint.
So he would always carry the whip with him. And he seen you doing something that he didn't like, he would tie you up to the tree and whip you until he got tired or till you fainted. Go ahead.
I've heard it said by people in authority, Tom Ashby owned 9,000 acres of farmland besides woodland. He was a large slave owner, having more than 100 slaves on his farm. They were awakened by blowing the horn before sunrise.
So he would awaken his slaves by blowing a horn before sunrise. It's kind of similar when you locked up. Go ahead.
They were awakened by blowing the horn before sunrise by the overseer, started work at sunrise, and worked all day till sundown. With no time to go to the cabin for dinner, you carry your dinner with you. The slaves were driven at top speed and whipped at the snap of a finger.
He said the slaves were driven at top speed and they were whipped at the snap of a finger. So he sees something he don't like, and you getting whipped. You getting whipped. Go ahead.
By the overseers. We had 4 overseers on the farm, all hired white men. I've seen men beaten until they dropped in their tracks or knocked over by clubs, women stripped down to their waist and cowhided. I've heard it said that Tom Ashby's father went to one of the cabins late at night. The slaves was having a secret prayer meeting.
Hold on. I want you to slow down. I see the sister put a comment in here. Sis, you don't have to bring anything to the cookout. You don't have to bring nothing to the cookout. You just come to the cookout. There will be food at the cookout. Go back up in the beginning of the last paragraph for me.
I've heard it said that Tom Ashby's father went to one of the cabins late at night. The slaves was having a secret prayer meeting. He heard one slave ask God to change the heart of his master and deliver him from slavery so that he may enjoy freedom.
Hold on. So the slave master went to the cabin and heard a slave praying that what? He heard the slave praying for what? That God would change the slave master's heart. Go ahead.
And deliver him from slavery that he may enjoy freedom.
The slave was praying that the Most High would change the heart of his master and that he would get freedom. Go ahead.
Before the next day, man disappeared. No one ever seen him again.
It said before the next day, that man disappeared and no one ever seen him again. Go ahead.
But after that, down in the swamp, at certain times of the moon, you could hear the man who prayed in the cabin praying.
So they said, but after certain times, you could hear the brother that was praying in the swamps praying. Is that what it said?
But after that, down in the swamp, at certain times of the moon, you could hear the man who prayed in the cabin praying. When old man Ashby died, just before he died, he told the white Baptist minister that he killed Zeke for praying.
So he said, so when this man was on his deathbed, this master, he told the minister that came to give him prayers, right? What did he tell him?
That he had killed Zeke for praying and that he was going to hell.
He told the minister that he had killed that slave for praying and he going to hell. If you could, I'm gonna end with this. Give me Baruch 3 and I believe it's 4 and 3. The book of Baruch 4 and 3. Remember the prayers. This brother was praying for freedom. He was praying for the Lord. He was praying for relief. He was praying for the Lord to change the heart of his oppressor. Go ahead.
Baruch 3 and 4.
Or is it 4 and 3?
I think it's 3 and 4.
Go ahead.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, and verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children.
The Bible says, hear the prayers of the dead Israelites and their children. Now that brother was praying for the oppressor to change his heart, to change his mind. And then we just voted in hopes again, like a simple Negro, hoping that voting will change something in the black community. We just voted thinking the oppressor has good intentions towards us, right? That slave was praying for, to get some relief from the pain and the anguish of being whipped every goddamn day. And the slave master heard him praying and got angry and killed that brother. That is our life. Like, we can't even get upset at what happens to us when it comes to police shooting us, when it comes to the opportunities that we don't have. Our oppressor, white people, get angry at us and say, we don't even need that. We don't deserve that. They get angry at us for crying out. For crying out. They get upset at us for crying out and begging for mercy. He wasn't even begging the slave master for mercy. He was begging the Most High for mercy. And the slave master killed him, man. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's it, and that's all, man. Read that from the top again.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites.
Hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. Go ahead.
And of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto the voice of thee their God, for the which caused these plagues to cleave unto us.
It said, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and their children. Their children are here today voting. Their children are here today protesting. Their children are here today doing petitions, rallying, begging for opportunities, begging for justice, begging for change, hoping for some type of change. Their children are here today. The Bible says to remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. You know how many brothers and sisters done prayed for a day when the Most High will come and take the oppressor away and take the burden off of their back? That day won't come, man. That day is not going to come unless blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians realize that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. When blacks and Hispanics realize that the oppressor, right, is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and actually see them for what they really are, then we can actually do something about it. But we can't do nothing about it while we are still trying to look to them to give us something or to have compassion on us, but we don't look to the Lord and we don't change our ways. We have to change our ways in order for the Lord to look down and come and defend us. And brother, I pray for that day. I pray for that day when those chariots fly. I pray for the day to be able to see the dread and the fear on their faces, and to realize that these people, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people, were always the chosen people of God, right? And with that, I'm going to end the class. Let's clap it up.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my houses. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. 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 I'm in a hell of a hole. Was never expected to grow. Just obstacle setting